I want to build an indoor pond. Where are the turtles going to go? They got to go somewhere. Now I've added these Xenotoca doadrioi. This is carved into a fountain. You could have any kind of filtration you want on it. You can put a light on it. That seems like a winning combo, at least for a while. Hey everybody, Cory from Aquariumcoop. Today we're in the fish room, and it's all Fish Tank Mike's fault. We're getting ready to tear a bunch of stuff down. Hung with him all weekend, and you know, just got a battle plan. And so today I'm getting started. There's lots of new things you guys probably haven't seen yet, like the purple jade rocks that we sell only in the retail store, not online. They're real heavy and dense. Got all little baby turtles crawling around doing their thing. We need to move the rest of these trout goodyids to the 800 gallon. They've been eating algae, so that's good. We've got the carved seiryuu stones. That's what's going on in here. And some blue platies I brought home from the store. Let me move the light up, it'll look better. Just like that. Now you can see, oh yeah, they are blue. Blue Mickey Mouse. What else? Been working on kind of a lot of stuff. Here's the eel. Been working on a little bit of rock work. Nothing too crazy because I'm going to redo a lot of these tanks, which I already know you guys are tired of hearing about it. I redo them too often. They look crappy. But I'm going to put an honest attempt in this time because hopefully no one will try to die on me and no travel and all that kind of stuff ahead. So I do believe these bettas, one of the males that's hiding back there, is holding babies. So that's cool. Maybe I'll get into that today. Who knows? Been just testing lots of stuff. You can see I got to take lots of stuff to like recycling center. I've got plants staged to ready to plant some of the stuff. Oh, water changes. I did a test, and I'll do that test again today and show you guys, but I was changing way too much water. And we dialed that back once, and I still decided I was changing way too much water. And so now I've got it, I used to have it going 6 minutes every day, and now we're down to 2 minutes once a week. So dramatic reduction. I'm pretty sure I lost all of my cardinal shrimp over the last 6 months. I can't see any of them. I cleared out some of the algae, moved some of the rocks, just can't see it. So I added guppies in and get back to my roots of what I like. I mean, I like the cardinal shrimp a lot, but maybe I'm just not destined to do those. I got some Corydoras hastatus. These guys school mid-water. They're in the back there. And right now they're just hiding. Need to set up a tank so they'll come out and about. I did set up kind of a little breeder tank. I gotta add some guppies or something in here, but these dwarf claro plecos, LDA08, kind of a rarity. This right here is absolutely full grown. So while it's a bristlenose, they don't get huge. And I spread them out throughout the tanks, and I put what I thought was a pair in there. As I start seeing some behavior, I will mix and match to get them breeding in the caves and doing that thing. Mostly for my own use. They take so long to grow, like they take, you know, over a year to hit this. They're not really viable in a retail store because people just go, yeah, that's just a baby bristlenose. I'm like, no, it's not. It's something different. Over here, we've got the pygmy Corys. And then, I don't know if I've shown you guys the nezzies. So the nezzies, they're a type of swordtail, nezahualcoyotl. And what's cool about them is they're just starting to get their tails, their swords. And on the males, the sword will come out and then go upwards. So it looks like a saber. And that guy's got the longest one so far, but I bought these as fry. And there's one guppy fry right there. And I need to keep working with them. There's lots of snails. You can see this one right here, it's got some stringy poop. That might be a sign that I'm gonna put another couple of rounds of dewormer in here, because these didn't get quarantined in the store. They got bought on like Aquabit online. And so, you know, even though I treated them, when you see more signs, like, well, I haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet. And so need to keep working on that. The plants in here with the, you know, down below where all everything is, dwarf Sagittaria, and I haven't decided if I'm redoing this tank or not. Like, it clearly doesn't look good, but could I fertilize more and get the plants growing more and doing what I'm gonna do? Probably. But I probably want some hardscape in here and maybe you know, maybe add some more dimensions to it. So for right now, the first goal was just start ordering some fish that I care about and getting stuff in here and starting to play with it. So I'm motivated, like, ooh, I want to make that look better and test stuff. So then we got down here, we've moved fish in. I gave up on waiting for the anti-algae stuff that I was testing out. Didn't work. And so now I've added these Xenotoca doadrioi, which is another type of goodiid live bearer. They're just starting to get some color on them. They're not amazing yet, and they'll never be super duper amazing, but you can see the color on the back half of the fish. That'll become more and more and more intense. Now, what I like about these live bears, if you look right up here, you can see this little baby. What's he doing? He's snacking on that hair algae. Just like the trout goodiids, they also will snack on the algae. And that's good, because I've got algae problems. And really, so first I'll take 100% of the blame and be like, I'm a terrible hobbyist. So let's establish that. And then go, okay, here's what I actually think happened. I actually think it was just too much water changing all the time and not enough fertilizer going in and neglect, right? And so part of the problem is like auto fish feeders just feeding regardless of how many fish are in there. And that actually was a problem for me. Not from too much food. A lot of people would say, hey, too much food. Yeah, I see that. Not enough food. Not enough food was going into this aquarium to sustain the plants. Now, how would that work in an aquarium like this? Well, what I want to have happen is auto feeder doses, fish eat it, and they go poop it around the gravel. And then what I want to have happen is this. You see like this mulm layer right here? Let me zoom in a little more. Mulm cam. Right there. I want that to be like right under the surface, but everywhere, so that so the plants can tap into that. And really, that's kind of what it is. When people talk about, and this isn't a one-to-one, but for the most part, when you put a layer of dirt or something down there, you're basically just speeding up the breakdown process. When something goes to the bathroom, bacterias and bugs and things like that start breaking it down. Eventually, it ends up basically as dirt. That layer of dirt is basically like a ton of fish poop or a ton of organic matter that you can get established in your gravel. Now, this gravel is I'm gonna call it like a medium-sized gravel, and so it can transfer down in there. Now, over here, we've got finer gravel. And can you see like, oh, it's there, but not there, and then not there. Like it's not penetrating as well on that gravel, or that sand, I guess. But as these tanks keep maturing, and right now they're probably closing in on 2 years, as they mature with the substrate, and a lot of them sat for a long, long time without substrate, but as they mature with substrate, they will have more of a rich bed of nutrients, and things like crypts and swords and stuff will thrive more. Now, that doesn't mean I'm never gonna have to fertilize again, because when I'm putting food in there, it adds nitrogen and a few other things that are in the food. But then there's other elements that aren't really being replenished maybe from your tap water. Now, I get a lot of calcium from my tap water, so I don't have to worry about that as much. But I'm gonna be missing, like, I don't think I have much magnesium at all, for instance. And so in this aquarium, not so much as it liquid fertilizers, it's more root tabs. And over here, it's kind of more liquid fertilizers. And then something like this plant right here is definitely liquid. This is Nymphoides, so a type of banana plant. Nymphoides species Taiwan. Now, it's a banana plant without the bananas. Super delicate to ship. You guys might have seen it really melt back super duper hard when I ordered it in, and then it reclaimed enough. I was like, all right, I'll put a few sprigs in, we'll see how it does. A tank like this needs no root tabs at all. All of these plants, the two Anubias and the bulbitis, feed from the water. Nothing really in the ground. This tank. So, as you know, I was out for months, basically, taking care of my business partner. No fertilizer going in. You can see the yellow deficiency. The yellow deficiency is when you're not getting enough nitrogen. What does that mean, Cory? Not enough fish poop or easy green. And so, because I was dosing very, very little, I had mostly shut off, and there was only shrimp in here, right? So little food was going in, it could not support Anubias. Anubias need like the least amount of food possible, right? So then you have a tank over here, which is cloudy at the moment. I understand that. But you see that this had an auto feeder, but I was letting more in because there's all the corydoras and all the shrimp. Same, all the plants in here feed off of the water column. And yes, there is that yellow leaf, but that's actually Xiphophorus, so it's got the wrinkles and new leaves look like the color of coffee. But so this right here was made the same day as these ones. The only difference was the amount of food going into each aquarium. They get the same amount of water changes, they're on the same timer for the light, they have the same filtration. They have a different amount of fish, but that was the food difference. They got the same amount of fertilizer as well. So that can teach you a lot, I think. Now, going forward, are we gonna do a lot more with this? Oh yeah, we definitely are. But you can also see here with the corydoras, right? So I got the corydoras in here. When you look at the substrate, the top layer, really there's no mold. Why is that? Well, corydoras get up to their eyeballs in there looking for munchies. When you go look at the same substrate over here with corydoras, but nano cories, you know, the little baby pygmies, you can see, let me focus, the mulm is way closer to the top here because they can't dig in as far. Their eyeball's like 1 grain of sand, not half an inch. So all of these things play into how good are the plants gonna do, what type of plants are you planting, and then you can look at an aquarium like this. I just cut it back because we were catching some fish. Fish Tank Mike fell in love with these and wanted to take some babies home, so he took like 8 or 10 home. This, lots of food was going in, kind of unrestricted. Like I was dumping it in, and so you guys love to see and then judge how much I feed. But these guys these are slow breeders, rare fish, expensive fish, thriving as far as I can tell, doing really, really well. And when I feed, let's hit the feed. You'll watch how much dumps in here. That was actually not that much, so I would need to actually bump that one up. But so that's part of the problem I was running into with the feeders. These guys, over the last 1.5 years, have made a lot more fish, not a lot more food. Now, I was feeding extreme nano, and more would come out on that setting, and I thought this was enough for the fish I had, but a lot of them were hiding. Bad example of how much gets fed, because I feed really heavy in this tank. Actually, that's besides the point, really. You can see the mulm there, though, if I can get it to focus, is right at that surface. Medium level gravel lets it fall in a little bit more. Again, that's good. And this Vallisneria, it gets water column fertilizer, but it's getting a lot from the fish poop, basically. That's basically what was really fueling this, and you know, what's the difference between this and something else. This tank here, I actually think we've diagnosed it's my super duper hard water is slowing the growth. I've never had it take this long for crypts to spread. They're bushy, they look good, but they're not spreading. So we're gonna, part of the reason we turned the water changes down was to see, can we make the water go more acidic? So as fish poop and bacteria digest it, that creates acids. If you let that happen over and over and over again, eventually you could crash your tank. If you monitor it, you could get the pH and the hardness down in there and get these crypts, maybe they'll thrive a little more. We'll know in about 6 months, right? Then we come over here. Let me hit this feeder. Maybe this will be a better example because it's kind of open. We'll see if that one, yeah, a little more land than that one, not a ton. But in here, that amount of food was enough to sustain all of this bulbitis and this one anubias, with some liquid fertilizer as well. And it supports all these shrimp, so I can actually feed to kind of a lot if I want. And so really, I like to teach you guys about ecosystems and getting balance and all of that. And the real talk is Cory's not in balance. The amount of work I've been doing to the amount of playing around in here and having fun is different. And so I'm now focusing on, let's get this to be fun again. And so the whole goal that Mike and I actually have coming up here, and I've got Zenzo or Randy might help out, and then Fish Tank Mike's gonna help out for like 3 or 4 days. We wanna just plant a bunch more plants work on a bunch more stuff, get these 12 aquariums looking good, tear out all of these. Why would you tear all those out, Corey? Why? You just set them up. Because I got other cool stuff I want to do. That's the reality. So also we want to set up that big aquarium right here, right where we've got nothing. That needs to get set up. So what do I want to do? I think this tank looks terrible, and you guys probably agree. Let me get you a better look. Don't get me wrong, it made all those baby turtles. So as a breeding successful? Heck yes it was. Heck yeah. Made a lot of babies. Looks, that part's great. But does it look good? No, it looks like an empty tank with some turtles. So I want to make this, I've got a certain look I want to do. I want it to be a nice Vallisneria tank with some rocks, and I want some fish swimming back and forth and it to look great. Now, where are the turtles going to go? They got to go somewhere. I want to build an indoor pond where the center of the pond, the turtles can get up and bask, and then I build, like, on one side a beach part. So the beach part we made, but bigger, so they can just get up, go on the beach, and the lip will be big enough so they can't crawl out, lay their eggs up there, and then go back to the center and swim around and love life, and put some big pendant lights from up top and make something looking cool. Now, that might be hard to envision because right now we have cinder blocks and wood. But let me show you what I imported that's going to kind of take up that corner. You're looking at that corner going, hey, there's a lot of piping and crap over there. Like, what are you doing over there? Well, I'll go outside real quick and I'll show you what's going to go there eventually. Well, with the latest import container, I had something made that I've been wanting and I saw from the first time I ever went to China, except I actually had it made bigger. This is a giant one piece. This is one seiryuu stone that weighs like a ton, like a literal ton, carved into a fountain. So imagine you got all the water down here and you've got like rice fish or something cool. The water pumps up here, comes over into this one, comes over into that one, and there's a little green inlet tube back there. This is gonna go in the corner of the fish room and pretty much just look awesome, I hope. And then, I'm thinking, could we put some plants in here? Like, what if you just put a potted plant, like a spider plant or pothos, that kind of stuff, all through here? It's getting water. I think it could look pretty cool, but we got to make room for it. I don't have room to put it anywhere. So it's one of the reasons stuff's got to come out, because I want to put new stuff in. Now, also on the shipment came the new tanks. Let me show you. All right, here we are with the new tanks. There's actually one more size you've seen on the live stream, but we've got a 2.5, and this is the 4-gallon, the 6.5-gallon, the 10-gallon, and the 13-gallon. This is just the first one. I brought in about 750 aquariums. So that's the first. These are only for sale in our retail store, which is a big bummer. Long term, maybe they'll hit retail partner stores and stuff as well. But for now, that's what we're working with. So that was kind of fun to bring in. I think they turned out really good. They've got curved corners, so this whole front is one piece of glass, and so I like that. High clarity glass. They also come with the glass tops and a back strip, which almost no other glass tops for rimless come with a back strip. It looks like this over here, actually. So the goal, right? You've got a little feeding hole. Oh, I'm putting the food in, blah, blah, blah. You've got the clips to hold it so you don't really see that it's got a rim. The top off. You could have any kind of filtration you want on it. You can put a light on it. The bottom does have a rim, and that's so you can put it on almost any piece of furniture and not worry, is it level enough? Like, it's got to be level, but like a normal glass tank and not a rimless tank where you're really critical of it. So you can kind of see they're schooling now, which they've never done in a smaller tank. I've never had them in an 800-gallon. I don't know if you guys know this, but I only have one of those, so it's not like I have a bunch to try it out, but that's kind of a neat thing. There's a lot of yellow going on in this tank with Ladybird, but them being, kind of a a very rare species in the trade, and a live bear, and they eat algae. That seems like a winning combo, at least for a while. Part of the problem I run into is just things we've installed when we built the place are failing. So for instance, this light up here doesn't work. And I can turn on these lights, but then it lights up all my junk, that kind of stuff. And so I want to hang a light down, and then I've had 2 different plumbers look at this, and this doesn't work. So I've ordered a complete new faucet system, which that's irritating. But I can only get either ridiculously hot water or cold water, and I have to leave this on. If I go to turn these off, here I'll show you. Not much light in here, by the way. The gaskets are all kind of like bound up in there. Yeah, so now it's just off, right? Like there's nothing that comes out. And when you go to turn it on, like hot water, oh, it's doing it. Oh my gosh, I did it. That's a rarity. You got all this foam in there too, but it'll just get super hot. Let's say you turn this down, right? Like this will be the time where it completely works fine. See, like I've got this cranked, no other water coming out. I can even turn this off, no cold water at all. See, if you like work it a bunch, you can get cold, but now let's say you want, like, I want lukewarm water. Again, now it won't do it again. If I turn it off, you can kind of get it going. So that doesn't work out too well when you're trying to clean a sponge filter with well water that doesn't have chlorine, but it can't be scalding hot. I can't. Also in the winter, when you're like, let's say I want to clean this decoration from Elmer's tank. If it's crazy cold, your hand starts cramping up. And then also this was a mistake, and I'll share this mistake with you guys. This overhead thing. The problem is it doesn't go low enough. So let me back up. So you're always getting water on you just by bouncing off whatever you're doing. So I've got one that can be lower in the tub. So fixing a few things there, and because I can only get scalding hot water or really cold water, I haven't been doing brine shrimp because it takes forever and a day, and I get poor hatches if I do it from cold water. B, way too hot of water, that doesn't work either, and I don't have extra water sitting around, which everything can be done, but when you make things convenient, you do it more often. So that's part of why I want to hang one more pendant light up here and just have it so it lights up the sink area really nice. Wait for the new sink to come in, or not sink, but the faucet. And then I want to get this back. So I took out all the fake plants, they were coated in algae, and I want to put some purple jade rock in there, and I want to suck out a bunch of the debris. I think all the fish are coming out, and I want to get it back to live bears and stuff with Elmer. But you know, when I was in China, there was a mishap with the filtration and everything while I was gone, and unfortunately that killed basically all my live bears in here. So there's no color. You've got black, brown, gray between all the fish and everything. So I want to get the shimmering going. Can't grow plants because Elmer will eat them, and then get the fish out of there, put some new rock in there. I bought a new, bigger, badder canister filter, which, Cory, I thought you hate canister filters. I do, but I'm gonna try to make it bearable and just turn this into something I enjoy a little more. So, get it cleaned up. I'm going to Home Depot. I gotta buy lights. I wanna see this in action, and maybe you guys do too. All right, I'm back from Home Depot. I've got a couple different lights installed. They're not on yet. I just wanna show you some of the differences. Lighting plays such a huge role, and depending on the look you're going for. So in this tank, lighting the whole aquarium up really well doesn't work well when you don't have plants. It just looks worse. But over here, it looks better when you're lighting up the aquarium that way. Now, I want to give you kind of the before, the after, maybe the editor will line some up side by side. But this is our aquarium light, which it's gonna make this look bad, but it's the use case. And you might not feel it's bad. We're gonna really dimly light this aquarium. And so I did find some cool bulbs, which I'll show you, but we're gonna turn these two lights off. Here we've got what the aquarium looks like with like outside lighting. So it's compensating. It's actually darker than that right now. So now I'm gonna flip out of here, turn these on and show you. Here we are with the other lighting. Now, I want to show you some different things that we're doing here, and I think maybe if I get a little further back, that'll help. Center it up. So, being that there's stuff floating in the water, this actually really helps. On the left-hand side, it has a very wide beam, right? Now that's going to hit the front of the glass. It's going to hit from here to here, basically, and about that much, and it leaves the back kind of hidden. It's also what we call a quote-unquote daylight light, so around like 5,000 Kelvin. This is a very blue light, very typical in the aquarium industry. I don't like my lights that blue, and keep in mind cameras always play tricks. Like it's not that blue on my camera or in real life, but it looks more blue. And then you've got this one right here, right there, and it's a much more narrow beam, and it's at 3,000 or 2,700 Kelvin. So let me show you the light that I'm playing with, and I think I kind of love it. It's got this, to me, it's got this like, what do I want to call it? Light in between the branches coming in, and you see this animal, right? And so this is what this thing is that I bought here. So I get enough light on it. But it's an adjustable beam. So I can actually widen it up. If I grab it here, I can actually adjust. Let's see if I can do it with one hand here. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to move it a little more. Yep. So now I've adjusted it, and it's a wider beam. So let's get back here and I'll show you how that looks. So I thought that was a really cool feature. I don't know if it's wider or narrower, but maybe it's narrower? Not sure. We have the light source close to the water, so the higher it was, like if it was up here, it would fan out more. I kind of love the spotlight effect though. All right, so now what you're actually seeing in these two is the same light bulb. One super orangey color, one daylight, a lot of blue. What this bulb can do right here, it can go from 5,000 Kelvin to 2,700 by just rotating. It's really hard to do one-handed apparently. Come on, move, yep, see? And you can change the beam of focus. So obviously I would never leave it like this, where you've got two different colors. That's gonna look terrible. But now you can also see the beams a little bit. You see the left one that's more blue is also a bit wider. So I think I want the two wide beams, but to be orange. Now, do we want 2,700 or 3,000? That's the next step. Let's take a look. Now, the left one here is 3,000 Kelvin, and the one on the right is 2,700 Kelvin. And when you're looking at it, it's hard to tell like that color, because the camera's auto-correcting, and that color. But you can kind of see one's a little brighter than the other. We also have the top, like everything makes a difference when it comes to lighting. We pull this out actually. Let's put that off to the side there. So now we can maybe get a little bit fairer. But, you know, which look do we like better? Do we like that? Do we like that? We've got two more settings to play with too. So I'm gonna leave it this dark kind of cool, and then I'm gonna make this one be cooler and try 3,500. Now you can really start to see the difference, I think. More LEDs are on from the, you know, like they kind of do different color LEDs versus that. So you really got to decide, do I want a little more light? Do I like that subdued look? And it's a tough call. I think I'll probably be playing with it for a little while. I could also add a third one. I'm not getting a ton of the shimmer, but I think I need to up the bulb. So they had brighter bulbs, but what I really want is you can barely see them if you were to duck down and look, where a bigger bulb's gonna stick out a little more. And so from the aesthetics point, but I do like how everything kind of fades into the back, and I bet you it's less stressful on the turtle. So still gotta figure out which one do I actually prefer, but now I'm gonna hook up the one above the sink and just see how I like that. Now I've got a light above the sink. Once I replace this, I can lower it down a little more just so it's not in anyone's eye if they're sitting down or anything. But now I've got space to work, so that's gonna be great. Or not space, light to work. And then I've got these dialed in at the 3500, which I'm kind of digging that. And you know, there can always be changes, right? So you see how they're like in the front 1/3? We kind of did that intentionally, but I could mount them a little bit. Like I could extend them and move them a little more towards center if I want. But yeah, so far, I do a lot of, let's see how I like that in a week. Does that still look good? Do I like that? Like obviously I gotta escape it still and clean it and set up the new filter and lots of those things. But you know, those fish in the front, I love that. Where they kind of, I love when fish kind of come into the light and the focus. Like that guy should look good if he goes right into the beam of light. See, he gets highlighted. And I love that. So maybe that's something that we'll do there. Now it's time to feed, as I've got all these foods and stuff, and it's, you know, I think it's like 6:30 or something now at this point. So I'm gonna feed all the fish and head inside and start talking on the Facebook group and things like that, and just letting people know what I'm doing. So thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed this longer one. Put it up on your TV or something, and we're gonna keep working. I'm getting ready for Fish Tank Mike. He's coming, and we're gonna get a lot done.